We're working. We're in the lab, and we're gonna make sure this happens as soon as possible.
Welcome to an episode of the Sports Genes Into the Lab podcast, where sports analysts and experts dissect the latest news from the NBA and NFL, giving you a unique view on some of the hottest topics around your favorite teams. From the fresh field smells of the NFL to the hardwood courts of the NBA, and possibly your comfy couch for your fantasy football team. Let's see what kind of news the lab is working with today. Here's your host from the Sports Analytics headquarters in San Antonio, Texas, Ernest Silva.
Oh, we're live and we are happening here, guys. It is Thanksgiving week, Turkey week, lots and lots of football almost every single day this week. I am your host, Ernest Silva, in the Into the Lab movie studio in San Antonio, Texas. Excited to be coming here live and in charge. Hopefully you're not too disappointed. You're going to hear a lot of me tonight. We don't have a full group today. Obviously, holidays are off for most of the group. But let's go around the room and talk about a familiar face you see in front of you. That's right, our guest of the hour, Rick Sincere from MTMV Sports. Welcome back to ITL, my man.
Hello, how y'all doing, man? I'm happy to be back in the building. I'm always blessed to be here. It's been really long time since I've had the pleasure of being in, and I see all the upgrades. That's what I'm loving. I hear the intro. That was sweet, right? The StreamYard move. I see you, bro. I love what I'm seeing. It is amazing, and I love to be a part of just this growth spurt, man, that I'm seeing from the lab, bro. That's cool.
We got a lot of growth happening, Rick. You're going to hear about some more today. We got a special announcement coming up just for Thanksgiving. But he made his debut on ITL in week 3. Before I get into some of the good stuff, he made his debut in week 3. He has not left since. Chris Connor is back with us, baby, and he's here to do some analysis. What's up, Chris?
Not much. I might have my privileges revoked. I lost a $10 bet to my sister on the Chiefs-Eagles game, and now all of a sudden, she's a now diehard Kelsey fanatic, Travis and Jason. Yeah, she said, "Hungry dogs are underdogs." That's all she's quoting now. So I might have to I might lose it at Thanksgiving. I might have to just strangle somebody because she's now considered herself a football expert. Ugh.
Oh, I actually love it. Sorry to hear about that, Chris. Surprisingly, you weren't the only one to lose some bets last week. It was not a fantastic personal weekend for me, but the BCMG guarantee did hit its first one of the year. I told you guys we had to. If you wrote that guarantee parlay, that means you won some money last week. Finally, 18-1 hit. So congratulations to those who follow, those who were actually messaging me saying we need one more game. I appreciate that. And then Kenny Cotterell's the one that posted into our main chat and said, guys, we did actually hit. So congratulations to everybody. Couple pushes, but we don't mention that on here, right? So probably like 12-1 or something like that. But that was it. Today, we're going to have some fun. It's Thanksgiving week. We're going to talk about what we're thankful for. We're going to talk a little bit about the games we have upcoming. But, of course, round number 1 is the fun stuff. We're going to go right into news around the NFL. So ding the bell. And let's get started. We're starting in Pittsburgh. That's right. Matt Canada is gone. We've been preaching for weeks now, especially Chris. Why isn't this guy fired? Well, Chris, you got your dream come true. You got your request. The genie in the bottle granted it. Talk to the people. What went wrong with Matt Canada for you, and why are you happy?
I mean, if anybody, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers who offensive players who are happy. I mean, look, the offense was so one-dimensional. A lot of swing passes, a lot of short throws, sideline to sideline, jet reverses, and you would look and go, "This nobody's growing." And look, I get it. Kenny Pickett is a big problem as well, but I never understood when Matt Canada was the offense coordinator. He had no history of ever success running an offense. So look, kudos to the Steelers. They had to do something because players were about to revolt. It's going to be interesting going forward. It's an offensive coordinator and an offensive passing coordinator. Mike Sullivan's going to be handling the passing offense. For those who think he's familiar, he was the offense coordinator for Tampa Bay when Greg Schiano was running that team, and Ben McAdoo when Eli Manning was back then, 2016. He has some experience. I think he'll be more of a downfield thrower in terms of what he's done before. Eddie Faulkner is the guy who's going to be the offensive coordinator for the running backs and the running game. We'll see what happens. I mean, he's done a great job running with the running backs, but this is still like, all right. They had to make a move, but it's a risky move because they didn't have anybody in house who would go, all right, he has a great offensive coordinator background.
So I guess at this point, if you're Pittsburgh, you're going to have a chicken and the egg standpoint here, right? Because you're going to say, was it Pickett that got Matt Canada fired, or was it Matt Canada that got Pickett to go solo with a new coordinator? Rick, you probably watched a bit of the Steelers. I don't expect you to be a super big expert, but talk to me a little bit about Kenny Pickett to you. Does this mean Pickett's stats and stock go up, or does this mean that, hey, the jury's still out, we may have to just wait a couple games to see what he does?
I mean, I would say that the jury's still out. You look at a guy like Matt Canada, yardbarker.com came out with their list of the best. They ranked the best play callers, right? 1 to 32. And guess who's at number 32, bro?
No doubt.
And if he's number 32, it seems like the right space to get fired in. You look at the weapons that they have, right? And Pickens and Johnson, and man, you just expect so much more growth from that offense. You expect a lot more from them. You look at a guy like Kenny Pickett, he's never really wowed me, like ever, except for that one time when he did that like fake slide and then he kept going. That was the one time Pickett wowed me, right? Like, and there's a lot of drawback on that. Outside of that, he's never really like struck me. If you looked at that draft class, I remember that draft class. That draft class wasn't a wow you draft class, and he was the best of that draft class. And I mean, he's showing me what I kind of expected to see. So, man, what do I see from? I don't know. I think going forward, you would have to think that it can only get better from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. It can get worse. And you make a change in the middle of the season, and you expect things to get better. That's one of the reasons I'm a Saints fan. So it's one of the reasons why that coach has not decided to make a big change, because it could get worse from here. So I'm not going to go with it gets better from here. I'm going to go with it could possibly get worse from here for the Steelers in that offense.
Yeah, I worry about that, especially with the AFC and the way that division is set up, right? The Steelers still are not worse in that division. They have a very big game this week, and this is crucial time. This is where you make or break a team and see if you make that playoff push. The steel curtain has been fine. The defense has played great this year. Similar to the Jets, it's just been the offense is just horrid. And other than Jalen Warren and the flashes of Pickens, it's been tough for Steeler fans to watch this offense go on the field. And I think the Hines curse might be a little real for this team, and should have never changed the name on that field. Last 30-second take here, Chris, on the topic, and we're going to move on to one of my favorite topics.
I think it is the smart move. Will be huge changes, no, but just remember, this is a franchise that doesn't fire people. I mean, they usually just the contracts run out or the guys retire. This has been the first firing since 1941, so you knew it was bad. I think it'll get better. I think it also helps that the schedule gets much easier. It's the Bengals, Arizona Cardinals, New England Patriots, Indianapolis Colts, and then you get Steelers and the Ravens, the last two games, but you're not sure what's going to happen to the Ravens because by that point they might have clinched up. So I think the offense will be a bit better just because the players don't hate the two offensive coordinators they have now.
Yep, fair enough. Let's move on to something a little bit closer to home, to what some of y'all like to listen to, and that's right. The Houston Texans are a hot topic. The Houston Texans have been a fun topic, and if you've been listening to any of my guest appearances on the Last Call podcast or any show I've been on, the Houston Texans were a playoff team before the season even started for me. So finally, everybody has gotten on board as to why the Texans may actually make a run at this. So I'll start things off here. The Texans, guys, they are legit. Okay. They have played stout football. They've played great against great competition. Now, they have played down to some competition, so I'm not going to excuse some of the losses, but they have played fantastic. They sit at 6-4. They're one game back of the Jaguars, who come to Houston this week. And this is going to be a team that gets to show up or show out, or basically get put down, right? This is the week. And CJ Stroud has a legitimate MVP case if he wins this division, if he gets a playoff team in. And let's not blink the eye yet. They are one game back of the 1 overall seed in the AFC. Like, that is not crazy talk. If the Houston Texans, for some reason, got the 1 overall seed as the AFC South Division winners, I'm just going to take a victory lap over everybody. I'm going to go on every show possible and play back all my recordings from when I said Houston Texans would make the playoffs. But let's break down the statistics here. Rick, before I go into my complete stats, how impressed have you been with Houston, or how iffy are you on Houston so far this season?
I'm completely impressed by the quarterback, CJ Stroud. Like, I remember going into the draft and how there was a big debate over who's the one, right? Is it Young or is it Stroud? And everybody kind of hedged their bets towards Young being the guy. And there were a few that were more on the CJ Stroud bandwagon, and I wasn't one of them, to be honest with you. But if you look at what this young man is doing right now, look, him and Joe Burrow are the only rookies who's ever thrown for 300 plus passing yards in 3 straight games, right? That's super impressive. You look at what's happening overall, like, he's in MVP conversations on a consistent basis, not rookie of the year conversations. Right. Not rookie of the season conversations, MVP conversations. That separates him. He's turning these guys, Tank Dell, Tank Dell was already, somebody who you have to kind of watch out for going into this draft. But Tank Dell right now has been doing remarkable things, and there's stats here, and I know you'll go over them, so I'm not going to steal that. But Tank Dell is doing his thing, right? Noah Brown is doing his thing. Nico Collins is doing his thing. You have a lot of playmakers on this team, and they are surprising me. They beat the life out of my Saints. And since then, I had to respect them. And now I'm watching them do it to others, and I'm kind of happy about it.
Yeah, you're basically like the brother cousin of Texas, right? Saints right around there with Houston. It's like the fandoms kind of merge. If the Saints are doing well, everybody's over there cheering the Saints. And the Texans are doing well, the Saints fans kind of support Houston. Chris, I was on your show before the season started. I said CJ Stroud was the guy. I said, I hope they take Bryce Young in Carolina because they're going to do us a favor in Houston. You kept on asking me why and kept on telling me to answer fan-based questions as to why. I'm telling you right now, I just said he was pro-ready. I thought he had it. I said he'd use his legs more. I said he'd be more agile and that he would be able to adapt. You said, we'll see. And you've invited me 3 more times to talk Texans on because it's been nothing but, I don't know, fortune telling so far with how they've done this year. But your take on the Texans, you've talked about them a couple different times. Your take on the Texans and their season so far.
Look, I'm very impressed with CJ Stroud. I give you credit. But I think people need to really understand the big key for him. He has a functioning offensive line. And I know when I heard people like Greg Bedard, Bill Breer talk about how this league has gone down because a lot of bad offensive lines, his has been pretty solid. And they invested. Look, Titus Howard they brought in on trade. Larry Tunsil they brought in on trade. Shaq Mason they brought in on trade. They signed George Font. Michael Dieter is a draft pick. They brought in Josh Jones as a swing offensive lineman. So they've kept CJ Stroud upright. They've given him protection. It's allowed him to develop. He's not seen ghosts. And Tank Dell has been, a huge surprise. I know they drafted him, with the expectation of, all right, he'll contribute, but you could argue he is their best wide receiver. He's the guy who makes the big plays, who can stretch the field and allow then CJ to throw underneath to guys like Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, and not worry about just the entire middle getting flooded. So let's see how it goes. The Jacksonville game is going to be a pretty big game. You still worry that they might have a hiccup here and there. I mean, they almost lost to Arizona, and Arizona's a bad team, and you still see all right, They're learning. They're on the job. They're trying to figure it out. But so far, they've been one of the darlings of the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will pivot on that offensive line. Go ahead, Rick.
I gotta say this, man. Wow, I was able to pull up our mock draft, and you picked C.J. Stroud in our mock draft, and you gave your analysis in. So, what you said earlier, like you've been predicting things the whole time, that's really true, man. I just want to throw that out there.
I appreciate that. I know sometimes I'm full of hot air, but not this one. I really was on board with this. And I had laid out. We did a season analysis before the season on Houston, and I said that they would be 7-4 leading the division after this Jacksonville game. I have it on tape, on record. And now the losses weren't exact. I had them beating Carolina, I think, losing to a different team, and so it might have even been the Jacksonville game. So I had those swapped, but it was almost on point so far. Now the offensive line was terrible the first 3 weeks of the season, but they were missing key pieces, and there were some gaps. But as they were getting healthier, you saw we could protect Stroud. Now the run game with Dameon Pierce has not gotten going right this season. They've been struggling on the ground, and similar to Dallas, if you can't run the ball, it's very hard to win in the playoffs and win those crucial games down the stretch. So hopefully they can figure that out and win some of these key games. But they have the second easiest strength of schedule to end the year. It got easier with Deshaun Watson getting out and not playing the rest of the season, which that to me was going to be a win no matter what. That's a Houston revenge game, so that was just going to happen. But let's talk a little bit about the fit. So CJ Stroud came in. I mentioned that this was the most eclectic group of wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs you have in the entire NFL. That includes teams like Dallas, San Francisco, Philadelphia. I said you bring in, first off, you had no idea what John Mechie was going to bring. Now, he hasn't been a huge influence in Houston, but the speed by itself on crucial situations, he's come up clutch. Tank Dell, he personally reached out to the front office and was friends with CJ Stroud and said, get me in the draft. And you don't do that if you don't know it's going to work, right? Or you find a way. And people methodically thought that's his new number one. It hasn't happened. Nico's the number one. I love Nico, and he's been so clutch this season. I love Nico Collins. I still hope he remains here as a possession wideout. But you have Nico and Tank as a 1A, 1B in Houston, and it works. And it gives him those options. Devin Singletary has provided the veteran leadership I said he would, as well as Dalton Schultz, who I said he would as well, playing with somebody like Dak Prescott, being able to come up big in big game situations, not shying away from the pressure. And that's just the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball is completely influenced by DeMeco Ryans bringing in his system from San Francisco and utilizing the gentleman he has on his side of the ball effectively. Jonathan Grenard has been phenomenal. You have a rookie captain that has made his influence and done things that most people don't in their entire career. The defensive secondary, although burned a couple of times in some big games, they've been pretty solid. So, and then you had some luck, right? Ogunwale kicks a field goal to win the game, and one of the backup running back. So you've had some luck. Houston Texans, I think, are just that sweetheart team, that storyline, that Cinderella storyline that's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as it gets to the playoffs because they'll be winning more. And that's the only reason. Now, will they be playing quality opponents? No, they won't be. After Jacksonville, it goes down pretty hard and it stays bottom of the league. So you're going to see a ton of momentum for Houston. They may even win this division because of strength of schedule. But I do think it's gonna be a something to remember, a big fall from grace if they don't figure out the run game and they don't figure out how to cover the secondary better when they're in true passing situations. But guys, this is basically San Francisco 2.0. This is basically the system instilled from Kyle Shanahan and DeMeco Ryans in San Francisco. If you look at how they utilize their weapons, how they rest guys on injury, how their philosophy of winning is, DeMeco Ryans is Houston culture football, and CJ Stroud's already hitting the 3,000 mark for yards. This man is going to continue to boom. He's going to have a 5,000 yard season. Like that might be the first. That's going to be amazing. He's having arguably the best rookie quarterback season ever in the history of the NFL. That is incredible that fit has hit. Luke says, pump the brakes. San Francisco 2.0. I'm saying it right now. It is.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
I am.
Because I'll say this. Their pass rush is horrible. It is a horrible pass rush. They can't get pressure unless it's maybe Jonathan Grenard. Even then, he's had 4.5 sacks in 2 games. That's not bad. He doesn't get much pass rush. And look,
between Grenard, Rankins, and Anderson, I wouldn't say they're bad.
They're not great, though. I mean, there is no Joey Bosa, Chris Jones, one guy who's like, all right, tap him on the ass and go get him, and he'll get him. They're good, and they're ahead of schedule, but this is going to be a big game, Jacksonville. It's like, all right, Jacksonville's rolling. Trevor Lawrence, when he's hot, can just shred somebody. They need to show that, all right, we can hold down offense. We can shut down good offense when they're rolling and not just get run out of the building like a guy named Baker Mayfield did when he basically turned their defense into Swiss cheese. It all comes down to the defense, and it comes down to the offensive line. I mean, outside of that first game in Baltimore where they gave up 5 sacks and Stroud was probably having like PTSD flashbacks, they've kept him upright. They've kept him clean, and he's allowed to cook. And when you have that happen, you can go pretty far.
Rick, give me a final 30-second take before I end the segment and we move on to our games.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and I believe in this team. I really do. But this will tell the story. Last time they played Jacksonville, Jacksonville spanked them, right? Like the last time it was a head-to-head situation. You know, no, I'm sorry, they spanked Jacksonville. Yeah, they spanked Jacksonville. So the last time they did that, the question is, can they do that again? Right? I look at this team and I really do believe. The reason I believe is because I believe in all the weapons. I believe in the leadership, and I wouldn't call them the San Francisco 2.0. I'd probably call them San Francisco 0.5. Basically because I know that this is a reincarnation of that team. They're just not quite where that team is.
Yeah, I guess let me clarify in case anybody was wondering, like, do I think they're better than San Francisco? No. What I'm saying is they are the iPhone 7 and maybe iPhone 15 right now in San Francisco, but they're going to get there and they're going to surpass them because they have the better and younger model of software inside of it. They're just basically evolving fast. But yeah, they're going to evolve and this, it's already clicking, right? Like you can see what's happening. And with an AFC that has a lot of what's happening to those teams at the top, Kansas City, we don't know what exactly is happening with Kansas City. You see them teeter. They play well one week. They don't another week. They're losing right now. Then you have the Broncos coming up. Obviously, the Chargers fall from grace. The AFC North, it's really the Ravens and the rest. They all have a lot of quarterback issues. And then Texans, Jaguars, right? And obviously, other than Tua and the Dolphins, the AFC East has got a ton of question marks on all their teams. So AFC is wide open right now. To me, it's really Baltimore's to lose, the Chiefs to lose. And if they start, and with the Chiefs, there's already some what's happening going on there. And so if Baltimore also has any sort of question mark, Mark Andrews going down, does that cause issues? What are we going to see with Baltimore? If those teams this AFC could be wide open, and Houston, having been one of the healthier teams, the back half of the season, could go in with momentum and shock some people. Just saying. I've seen crazier stuff happen. I did not predict them going to the Super Bowl to start the year, so I would be wrong, right? I would say I was wrong, but I did have them making the playoffs and losing in the wild card. So we'll see what happens. We are going to move on to a special announcement. So tonight's special announcement, let's go ahead and put this up already. Let's just start the queue, right? Let's put the light on. A special thank you to BCMG. We have been a part of the BCMG family now for over since 2018. So where are we at right now? Almost 6 years we've been. January of 2018. So it's almost 6 years we've been with the BCMG family. It's been a very exciting time. BCMG itself has gone through the ups and downs, and we're so happy to be a part of Blue Collar Media Group. But we are officially part of their rebrand. So you remember back in the day, we were called the Sport Gene, and we turned into ITL towards 2020 when we started hitting COVID. And the Sport Gene origins of ITL are coming back. So we are turning BCMG into the Sport Gene Network, and will be officially called the Sport Gene Network, covering a slew of sports and all sorts of sports and streamers still alike. That rebrand is in full effect and will be opening up in the holidays, and we're very excited to be announcing that tonight on ITL while everybody enjoys the holiday season. And you'll be seeing those promos. So wearing my BCMG shirt, having our BCMG swag while we can. And I just want to do a special thank you to this brand that's been a part of this show for so long. We'll always have BCMG in our hearts and in our blood. And then we're going to be moving on to this brand new logo and network phase for the Sport Gene. So excited for all of us to be joining this new network and this rebrand. And glad to have you guys be a part of that journey with us. So ride here, and thank you to all y'all for your support.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, with that being said, of course, I'm going to play one of our promos that we had, and we will go right into our ITL Primetime Pick'em, where we're going to talk about the next steps of who's winning this week. So let's go ahead and fire that up, and then it looks like Just Luke is joining right after that.
Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday.
I'm your host, Andrew Kahn. This is the Boomtown Pod.
Add into the Lab Pod is where you're watching today's stream.
Stuck him!
It is Blue Collar Game Day. I am your host.
I got a kill!
Welcome to episode 277 of the Official Butthole Podcast. Got it.
Better together.
Better together.
We're better together.
Better together.
Better together.
That famous slogan, Better Together, was BCMG's best slogan. As we've got all of our content creators, shows, and streamers alike, you can still follow all of us. We're going to go under the new name, the Sport Gene Network, starting beginning of the year through the holiday season. Special thank you again to everybody. We are starting round 2, and you might see that beautiful face come on the screen. Happy National Fire Canada Day. The Pittsburgh Steeler himself, that's right, Just Luke. Just Luke, what's going on, my man?
You know, I was just sitting back, enjoying my holiday, and then I hear San Francisco 2.0, and I'm just curious on where we have come in 11 weeks.
Well, let me tell you, I said San Francisco 2.0, and my DMs were saying this.
Give me a hell yeah!
That's what I was getting. So I don't know. The fans seem to love it, Luke. Everybody says they're in.
I mean, I forgot this is a Texas-based podcast, so I mean,
that's definitely going to be on TikTok later, so that'll go viral, and everybody can just enter me when they go 4-4 to end the year. But yeah, we're calling them San Francisco 2.0. Of course, I think Rick said it right. San Francisco 0.5 as they develop, and they're ahead of schedule. So I may adapt that.
I just want to throw it. I have a bone to pick with Luke. I tried to chain up the inner Luke when he said about Matt Canada getting fired. I'm like, where is Luke? He needs to be here. It's like, announcing the presidential, election and not having one of these pundits who are like going nuts and going, yes, this guy sucks. This guy's terrible.
Here's the thing. So I can actually finally sit here and say, thank you to the Cleveland Brown organization. Thank you for being so bad that we finally decided to fire our offensive coordinator. I am so thankful for you guys. I can say that now because it's Thanksgiving week. So I'm very, very thankful for being such a trash organization that we decided because we lost to you, we could finally be, proactive and fire our offensive coordinator. So appreciate you.
Give me a hell yeah!
Kidding, Luke. Just I want to make sure we throw that out there again. Let's talk primetime. Let's get that out of our system. We're going to Detroit. Turkey Day morning. The Detroit Lions are going up against the Green Bay Packers. Detroit Lions 7.5-point favorites, where they're ending on the market today on what they're going to be accomplishing. Now, Detroit 8-2 for the first time since a lot. It's been, I think it's like
The
1957.
60s.
Yeah,
I think
it's
60s.
way back then. So
Yeah.
let's talk this out. Detroit -7.5, very healthy. David Montgomery is back. He looked fine the last 2 weeks. He looked great 2 weeks ago. Sealed the deal against Chicago last week. Jared Goff has been great. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been great. Laporta had an off week, but we'll get him back on track. I love Detroit in this matchup. I love the divisional awareness. Green Bay's playing fine. They had a big win last week. I'll start this one off, which is a rarity. I am taking Detroit to win this game and win it big. I don't think it's going to be that close. It might be something 20-3 at halftime, and people are enjoying their food and they're not watching this game. But I'm going to say Green Bay makes some sort of small comeback, but ultimately Detroit's too much. They run it out. Detroit probably is a 10-point favorite for me. I'm gonna take the 7.5 here. Chris, what do you like?
I like this game to be close. I'm sorry. This is still Detroit, where it's like you look at some of their games and go, wait a minute, you were, life and death with the friggin' Chicago Bears. What the hell is going on? You
projected division winner, Chicago Bears, mind you.
You couldn't stop the LA Chargers even when they had that idiot coach Brandon Staley. What the hell is going on with you? You gave up 24 points to the Carolina Panthers. What is wrong with you? So I like the Lions to win. I think it's going to come down like a field goal. It's going to be weird. It's Thanksgiving. It's the Lions. The Packers always get up, and finally Jordan Love is like, okay, I can actually find my wide receivers and hit them, for like complete passes. So I like the Lions, but only by 3.
All right, we have Detroit by 3, Detroit by 1 million for me. Rick Sincere, who do you have in this game?
I'm gonna have to go with Detroit on this one. Yeah, I love the fact that the Packers, found a way, right? But as I look at these, man, as I look at the Detroit Lions, I see what you see, and I see what everybody sees, right? A team that's on the rise. And last year it looked like they were fighting and clawing, like the coach said. but now they've gotten to that point where they don't have to bite off kneecaps; they're punching people square in the face. Now I love what Chris just said, because you got to look at some of the games that they've played against lesser competition and how they've played down to the level of competition, and they didn't really shine when they should have shined. This is a rivalry game. They should come in amped. They should come in to kill. At the same time, they're still getting over their identity. And so I don't really feel like they have it all together, but I do love every single weapon they have. You mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. You mentioned David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love what they have on defense. Alex Anzalone has been playing really well as well. And he's one of my old guys from the Saints, so I had to bring him up. But I love this team, man. I'm in love with the Detroit Lions. You're right, they're 8-2 for the first time since 1962.
There it is.
Crazy, yo. That's crazy. Yeah. And you look at this squad, and I love where they're headed. And I think the Packers are next in their run.
There we go. We've got the 3 Detroit picks, which means for those of you that are following along at home or listening on your radio, has the opportunity to kill this or continue it. Luke, do you like Detroit, and by how much?
I do like Detroit. I don't think it's Turkey Day without a Detroit win. I feel like that's a necessary element to my coma in the afternoon. So, give me the Detroit Lions. Sponsored by Petco. If you can't hear him in the background,
I was about to go there.
This segment brought to you by Petco. I say it's gonna be like 24-20 though.
All right. So what we do here, Rick, and we've modified it for the guarantee, is we try to bring the spread as far down to where we all agree to it. So Detroit -4. Are we feeling that, guys?
I honestly, I would take 5.5 is where I would like. That's my line.
I think Chris might bring us down, or Rick. Rick's not liking that one very much. Chris, where are you at?
I'm still at 3. As I said, it's Thanksgiving. Okay. It's the Packers. They're going to come fired up. And Detroit's just their defense is still just Jekyll and Hyde. They either play great or it's like they forgot how to play defense at all.
All right, I can do 3. Rick, are you on 3?
Nope. I'm what's it, 7.5?
You're at 7.5?
I'm on 14.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. But okay, so we can agree though as a group, -3 is the lowest point. So -3 going on the BCMG guarantee. If you're listening, we're getting our feet wet. We're getting into it. The four of us have never been on screen together, so let's push it out there. Those fingers in the air, wave them like you just don't care. The BCMG guarantee has hit Detroit -3 to start us off your turkey week. Win you some money if you're going solo. But that takes us to what we're calling ITL's game of the week. And you already know where we're going with this. That's right. The game that happens every turkey day, where it should, how it should, in Big D. Woo!
Loving it. Are you muted on purpose?
So let me pick up here. So we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. It's 11 by 11. Look, unless the Dallas Cowboys get drunk on eggnog and Jerry Jones like spikes the punch, Cowboys should cover. It's just the Redskins are bad. The Cowboys are rolling.
Whoa! You can't say that word. You can't say that word. What are you talking about? I can say whatever I want.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm all. You know what? My sister now is a football expert.
So people were muted on purpose.
Hungry dogs are underdogs. So damn it, I'm going right now. It's the Cowboys by 11.
Can you guys hear me again?
Yes,
yeah, we can.
Hear you.
It happens every week. For some reason, my audio cuts out, but I'm okay with it. I'm back, luckily, because I was hyping it. I was going at it. I mean, everybody in the house was feeling it. Like I had my kids coming in, they were vibing, they were all about it. But Chris, you came in, you said, give me your pick one more time.
It's gonna be Cowboys by 11 unless they spike the eggnog and Jerry Jones decides to like hand out free Christmas turkeys early or Thanksgiving turkeys. It should be a slaughter by the Cowboys.
Only early showers will be from the Washington side. Luke, what do you like in this game?
I mean, I feel like it's another Turkey Day tradition where the Cowboys have to play and win on Turkey Day. 11 though.
It's a large line.
That's some fuckery, but that offensive line is bad for Sam Howell. I mean, I'd play the over on the Sam Howell passing yards, but anything besides that, I think Dallas should clear this one probably by two touchdowns, probably.
We got two Dallas -11s. I am not going to take the pressure on this one. I'm taking Dallas by 1 million as well, and I don't think this is going to be close. I think this is going to be one of those games where Dallas takes care of business. I don't think this is a fuck around and find out situation. I think they go in there, they win at home, they continue their undefeated nature at home, and they welcome this horrible schedule going into December at 8-3. So Rick, that officially puts you a hot seat. What do you have going for Dallas versus Washington?
Give me those Commanders, man. I'm looking at this the right way. No, I'm just playing. I gotta go.
I was like, wow, he's really saving us on this parlay when Dallas doesn't hit. So I appreciate that.
Nah, I gotta go with Dallas, man. You look at their last 12 home games, right? They've won them all. And this is at Dallas again. It's the longest active streak in the NFL, man. I'm seeing everything that the right way, right? You look at Dallas, every time they have a team that's garbage, they take out the trash, period. Like they don't play around with these garbage squads. And the Commanders are a not great team, period. Agreed. And what we're going to see is them demolish another not contender. And so I don't expect anything less than a big time win for the Cowboys. That defense takes no mercy, has no mercy on Harbaugh offenses.
I completely agree. And so is everybody okay with -11?
Yes.
All right. If you're listening, this is a first because we haven't hit a big spread this year on the BCMG guarantee, but you heard it here. We have a BCMG guarantee. Dallas -11 goes on the parlay ticket. Put those fingers in there, wave them like you just don't care. Again, if you're driving to your holiday party, if you're enjoying this at work, at home, that is 2 BCMG guarantees in a row. Detroit -3, Dallas -11. And our team is officially a Dallas Cowboy pod right now because we are hyped about what the Cowboys are doing at home. Luke's fired up.
Easy.
Oh, sorry, Luke. I didn't know that was the truth coming out over there.
Easy.
So hyped. Okay, I guess not. But that takes us to our final Turkey Day game, which I believe is going to be in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Seattle versus San Francisco. San Francisco -7 on the road. Official today, Geno Smith got a practice in, and he's starting. So Geno Smith going to play. He's about 70 to 80% healthy, according to Pete Carroll. So we will have squad versus squad. Zach Charbonnet getting the start this week. And Seattle will be hosting San Francisco. Let's start this around the room. Luke, you can start us off with one. Who do you got?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he was 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. San Francisco is getting this dub. I mean, you get Trent Williams back, you get Deebo Samuel back, and it's like you get the best tackle back in the league and one of the best weapons in the league back on offense, and it's like a whole new team. Who would have thought? So give me the San Francisco 49ers. -7's tough. I don't think I'm going to lay that -7 again in an in-division game on a holiday. That doesn't sound too good. One of these games ain't going to hit, so I'm going to take this one. I'm not going to take San Francisco 7. I'll have Seattle cover this.
San Francisco money line is the first hit for Luke. Chris.
Yeah, I'm taking San Francisco. Look, even though Geno Smith is 70, 80%, no Kenneth Walker, probably no DK Metcalf, no Jarek Reed. I mean, that's too much. And if it was healthy, I'd be a little more like hopeful for Seattle, but I think this is going to be 49ers by at least 8 points.
All right, so taking San Francisco spread then, Chris, correct? You're going to take
Yes.
the 7? Okay. All right, Rick.
Yeah, man. When I look at the weapons for San Francisco, and I hate the fact that I've been with y'all on every single pick so far. It bothers my soul a little bit, to be honest with you. But I can't stray away here, man. Brandon Ayuk, 5 catches for 156 yards, man. That's crazy work last week. Deebo Samuels, interestingly enough, has 501 scrimmage yards. And 3 touchdowns in 4 career games against Seattle, right? And that's 125.3 yards per game that he's played Seattle. What does that mean? That means I'm definitely starting him, but it also means, man, those weapons are there, right? Look at Kittle. Look at Kittle. He seemed to have a little bit of a dip, but Brock Purdy's back in his bag, baby. And if Brock Purdy's in his bag, it's going to be a long day for anybody playing San Francisco because defensively, they're still very, very scary. So I'm looking at this. I don't love the fact that Geno's slightly hurt, but I love the fact that he is playing. It's going to make it competitive, but I give it to San Fran.
So San Francisco money line for you, Rick? Or do you like that spread?
I don't love that spread because it's a division game. It's too far for me.
Okay. All right.
Taking money from me.
Scary times for Primetime. I'm taking San Francisco as well. I'm not going to kill this parlay pick because I do think San Francisco wins the game. I am not good about the spread.
Yeah, I'm not good.
The 12th man in Seattle is real, and Seattle tends to play above their head. They're actually 6 points better offensively and 3 points better defensively when playing at home. So I'm going to take San Francisco money line. And I'm actually okay with just sticking money line on the parlay. I don't need points on here. And so I'm not even going to offer it for this game. I don't want it to kill us. So we're going to keep San Francisco money line on the guarantee, which means, though, that we are 3 deep and 3 on the parlay ticket here for the BCMG guarantee. So wave those fingers in the air and wave them like you just don't care. That is right. The BCMG guarantee goes on for this one as well. And if you're hyped, you're putting down notes, we'll give you the official buzz in the ear. Hype that up. Turkey Day should be fun. Hopefully we see these teams show out and put out. But something different this year, guys. We don't go from Thursday to Saturday or Thursday to Sunday. We actually go right to the next day for those that are shopping or for those that are just sitting at home. into Black Friday, you're going to get another game, and this is going to be in New York. The for whatever it's called, Zach Wilson Jets take on Miami Dolphins. Miami 10-point favorites on the road, and I just think they couldn't make it 17 just for respect of New York. But I'll start this one off, guys. It's not going to be pretty. Like, this is going to be a fun game for Tua and the Dolphins. I think the Jets defense is stout, so I think they're going to put up a fight. But ultimately, Tyreek Hill is going to outrun that defense. The Miami offense is going to click. A-Chain's going to be back to full health. I think that the Miami offense is going to be clicking all cylinders, even if it's in division. Some people might say for the, views and the primetime spot, well, you can't make it a blowout. So keep it close for 3 quarters, and then Miami runs away with it. I'm going to say Miami wins this game and wins it handedly. I'm going to take Miami -10 to start things off here. And I may be in the minority here, so I'll let other people talk. Let's go with you, Luke. How do you see this game?
I mean, if the abysmal Bills offense can put up 30 against the Jets defense, I think Miami can put up 30. So give me Miami because Tim Boyle's starting. So give me Miami and give me Miami big.
There you go. 2 Miami big takes here. Chris.
I hate this game in so many ways. Let me get on my soapbox here. Why the F is there a game on a Friday at 3 o'clock, the day after Thanksgiving? Most people, I get it that Amazon wants to now just like shove Christmas ads up. So unfortunately, Miss Sylvan Albee would see that game and go, ooh, Ernest, we need to get that 2-for-1 sale on Christmas ornaments. Hey, we should also get the extra large bag of peppermint candy canes. That'll be great for the tree as you're watching. Going, I just want to watch football. I just want to watch football. I know the game sucks after the halftime because Miami's up by 10, but God damn it, I don't want to think about Christmas gifts right now.
And even though everybody's going to be talking about it, you're still going to have these guys on the couch Friday morning.
What?
Football today, man. There is football today. Like, you have all the shocking people. What? There's football going on? Where? Amazon Prime. Damn it. I knew I should have gotten that 99-cent deal. Damn. That's what that's for, right? Like, get our 99-cent deal, watch football, enjoy the year of Prime. That's just my opinion. But okay, Chris, who are you picking?
Yeah, I'm picking Dolphins. Just Tim Boyle is basically brought in to be sort of Aaron Rodgers' caddy. They didn't put him in earlier because they had no faith, and now it just got to the point where Zach Wilson was being prepped to be strangled by the team and the fans. So yeah, this is going to be just like a get well game for the Dolphins. All right, yeah, we're cooking. Forget about that Las Vegas game. It didn't mean anything. This is where we get right back.
Awesome. Rick, wrap us up on this game.
Man, I want to say that the Dolphins will win. I want to say that I want to say that with a lot of confidence. But I don't know because the last time you bring in a backup quarterback for the Jets, y'all remember Mike White?
Yep, of course.
All right. Y'all remember him just doing the easy things well?
Yep.
Right. And that was enough to kind of put them in contention and make them play well and win some games. As I look at, I don't know what to expect from Boyle. I really don't, but I do know what to expect from a good defense. And I don't expect for Tyreek Hill to run away with this one, right? Because it's not like he's not playing against Sauce, right? And it's not like Waddle has been amazing this season. He just hasn't, right? A-Chain, I don't know if he's going to be healthy the whole game. He just hasn't held up. So I don't expect amazing things from him either. I think they'll win this game, right? But I don't know for a fact, and I'm definitely not taking the 10. So I'm kind of lost on this one.
Just let us know what number you're comfortable with, Rick.
What number I'm comfortable with? 2.
2. All right. We are going to plug that in because you might have just saved our parlay. This probably was not going to be a runaway on on a Friday afternoon. But
I just want to throw this out there because I have my stat people looking this up.
Yeah.
It's Tim Boyle in college, his best year was he threw 11 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Comparing Mike White and Tim Boyle is like, as I said, comparing turkey with like ham. One is something that is a tradition for Thanksgiving. The other thing is something you go, if I dump enough gravy, maybe some of that special eggnog that, Mrs. Silva just like put like extra like liquor into it, maybe it'll taste fine. Maybe.
Are you saying that ham is the loser here?
I'm saying that Tim Boyle is a ham.
Ham wins a lot, bro.
You just go, okay, please. I can't believe I'm eating this, but I'll just eat it. God damn it. Oh, God, it tastes terrible.
I don't know. I see it more like a tamale, and I would eat a tamale at any time of the year. So that's where I go with that. But that's a BCMG guarantee. I don't care what analogy is. Put those fingers away like you just don't care. Miami -2 has hit the parlay. Just so we recap here, and we're going into our almost to our final segment. We have Detroit -3, Miami -2, Dallas -11, and the San Francisco money line on this game. That takes us to Sunday Night Football for the first time. Or actually, the third time this year, we're going to have 6 primetime games. Sunday Night Football is going to be in the beautiful city of LA as the Chargers host for this game. So let's roll it. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens -3.5 in this game. Chargers are desperation mode. This is going to be a fantastic game. Let's start around the room. We'll start with you, Rick. What do you like in this game?
Man, I like the Ravens. And I know they just lost a really big weapon, but I just feel like they win games consistently, and they're really good at it. And the Chargers just lose games, and they're really good at it. So I'm going to go with the Ravens here. Do I like the 3? Yeah, I like it.
All right. He likes the 3.5 here. Luke?
I just don't know how much more they need to see out of Brandon Staley. I mean, 6 losses, either 5 or 6 losses by 3 points or less this season. I mean, I don't know what else they have to see. He's just not good when it's down to crunch time. And here's the thing about this game, Ernest. There's not going to be a crunch time because the Baltimore Ravens are just going to run away with this. So
fair enough.
Give me the Ratbirds.
There we go. 2 Baltimore -3.5. So I've been chosen here. Chris?
Once again, I want to state for the record, Justin Herbert is a franchise quarterback, a top 10 quarterback. And once again, I want to state that Brandon Staley is a boob who should have been fired 3 weeks ago. And he is hurting my Justin Herbert. Chargers, yes. I don't care if you're San Diego, L.A., freaking St. Louis, fire Staley. Baltimore is going to hurt Mr. Herbert, and this is going to be a lost season, all because Boob Staley cannot, figure out that 4th and 1, you kick the field goal, not do like a reverse or a jet sweep. I'm upset. I'm just going to say I'm upset. I'm taking the Ravens, and once again, Brandon Staley should be fired.
So are we moving on from Fire Canada to Fire Staley?
Yeah, that's absolutely next. That's absolutely next because this is not only going to be a similar pick, but I'm going to have to flash this now as we're going into our 5th BCMG guarantee together.
A mountain so high it can keep me away. I must fall.
Following each other here, and Baltimore -3.5 has now entered the parlay. Wave those fingers in the air. Wave like you just don't care. Baltimore -3.5. This is going to be.
We're off the rails.
Yes, we are. We are absolutely off the rails. For those listening and not sure what's happening because you can only hear them. The BCMG guarantee, our final BCMG guarantee parlay of our lifetime, possibly. Baltimore -3.5 now enters the fray, and we are moving on to our final primetime game. And for those following along, this is our 6th one, not standard, but this week we ended up having a Black Friday game. So let's cue over to our final Monday Night Football game. That's right. Minnesota -3.5 versus the Chicago Bears in a way to end a holiday weekend. We are going to Minnesota. Josh Dobbs and the Vikings playing fantastic, riding that winning streak against the Chicago Bears, who've been playing better recently with the return of Justin Fields. But Londo's pick of them being division winners and my stacked division winner is not looking pretty as they fall comfortably on the bottom of the whole league. I'll start this one off. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. Chris, who do you have?
Minnesota. And while I know you like to say that, Houston is like the Cinderella team of the NFL, I'm going Minnesota by 3.5. And God damn it, how the hell is that team in playoff contention when they've lost Kirk Cousins, they've lost Justin Jefferson, and they pulled Josh Dobbs off of, the scrap heap, and he's now winning games. Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year. The Bears should have been traded for O'Connell so they can actually get a legit head coach.
There you go. Minnesota -3.5 starts off on this. Luke.
Minnesota wins by 1.
Minnesota money line makes an appearance. All right. So you think it's gonna be a lot closer than that, huh, Luke?
Well, it's just fuckery of the highest order with this game. I mean, I don't know what else you want from them. I mean, the Chicago had the most bare way of losing last week, and now you have the bones of Josh Dobbs winning games for Minnesota. I mean, I don't know. This game just has disaster of 11-10 or 12-11 written all over it.
A live look at most NFC North matchups.
As you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
That's right. That's
1,000%.
That's the usual matchup there. Rick.
It seems like the perfect matchup to go the other way. So as I look at the Chicago Bears, it is. I mean, let's be honest. We just mentioned it, right? It'll be 11-10, 12-10 or whatever. All right. We know that this could go either way, and I'm gonna go the way of the Justin Fields way, right? I just look at what he did when he came back in, and how he changes that offense around, how he changes DJ Moore into something you gotta fear, right? How he makes Cole Kmet was already doing well either way, right? But now you have a legit quarterback there. You have a real good chance to knock off this, emerging team in the Vikings. I hate the Vikings a little bit and love them a little bit. I hate them because they beat the life out of me, and that sucked. But I also love the fact that you have a guy who's just super smart coming in and changing the whole destiny of a team. At the end of the day, I feel like Chicago's, on the come up. And Montez Sweat got his first sack last week, right? And we waiting for that to pass, waiting for that to pay off. He didn't, make it pay off the first few weeks, or the first week, but now he made it pay off. That guy's going to be, he's going to matter in this game. And I want to say the Chicago Bears will win.
I love that take so much that I absolutely agree. I have the Bears winning this game. I have it being a close game. First off, like none of these NFC North matchups should ever be say they're going to be a blowout. Even last week, Detroit Chicago was nuts to the end. So I am taking Chicago money line for this game. I don't need the points. I don't want the points. I'm just taking Chicago money line straight up. Give me the win. Give me the victory. If there were any extra points for primetime games, this would be one of those I get extra points on because I do think Chicago's going to come out and show out, and Minnesota's luck does end up running its course. It's going to be another one-score game they have a heartbreak on, and Chicago gets their moral victory of the year. They keep Justin Fields as their guy as they go to the draft, and they try to draft their, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s of the world, right, and start filling out the rest of their team, offensive linemen, of course. But I'm taking Chicago in this game, and I was hoping I could play a certain clip for that, but now that Rick has my back on that one, I don't have to. So we're going to go into our final segment. For all of you watching, thank you very much. Longer than I anticipated episode, but love the content. So we're going to go right into fire round picks. And as all y'all know, fire round picks go pretty quick on this show. So let's transition over to our final round where we're just going to give you which teams we think are going to win. Most of the season, I have had no audio on those videos. And for some reason today, I can hear all of it. So I am so hyped going into these segments. It's been phenomenal. So let's start it off where we should. Houston versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville 1.5-point favorites on the road. I'm picking Houston. Rick.
Give me Jacksonville.
That's okay. You don't have to apologize. It's perfectly fine. Not putting
You're
him
my
on
guy,
the
though,
parlay is
man.
probably better.
You're my guy.
Luke.
Jags.
Chris.
Jacksonville big.
Wow. Okay, you have to rub it in, Chris. Damn, dude. Now I get to play my.
It may be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not funny to me. Okay?
By a landslide. Now I'm taking the other side of this. Houston dominates again. We are going to Indy. Indy 2.5-point favorites versus Tampa Bay. I'm going to start this one off again. Tampa Bay is my pick for this game. Rick.
I'm gonna go Tampa. Getting rid of Shaq Leonard, that sucks. Going Tampa.
And that was going to be something we talk about, but I'd rather see where he lands first because there are a couple of Texas teams that could use a good linebacker. Luke.
Tampa Bay, and Shaq Leonard needs to come to Pittsburgh.
There is 3 right there. And going to Chris, we are now feeling the effects of a fire round BCMG guarantee. Chris, who do you have?
Tampa Bay. I think it needs but ready to just start going into the tank.
There we go. We have our first fire round BCMG guarantee. Those fingers for the very end. Tampa Bay money line enters the fray to the BCMG guarantee, and that takes us to real quick way. That takes us to Tennessee. Tennessee taking on the Carolina Panthers. Tennessee minus 3.5 in this game. Let's go with Luke.
Well, I'd like to say Carolina because they need to tank, but guess what? They don't have the picks, so give me Tennessee.
That's so true. That is so true. Tennessee takes the first bid there. Rick.
Yeah, give me Tennessee.
That's 3 Tennessee picks. I take Tennessee as well. Chris.
I'm going Carolina just because Tennessee's a mess. Carolina's a mess. Bryce Young has to do something soon. Like, he has to pull another rabbit out of his ass. It can't just have, like, the Panthers' lone win be over the C.J. Stroud Houston Texans.
There you go. That Carolina pick for Chris saves another BCMG guarantee from hitting that parlay. We are at 6 so far. We're not going to recap to the very end where you wave those fingers in the air like you just don't care. But this does drive us right into one of our favorite transitions. New York Football Giants versus the New England Patriots. Patriots 3-point favorites in a game that most people, even with the Sunday ticket in the Boston area, will not watch. Let's start this one off. Chris, who do you have?
Lots of drinking and depression. No. I'm going with the Giants, but whoever watched this game, my hat's off to you, or you're probably drunk because this is going to be the worst game of the week to watch.
Absolutely agree. Rick.
Give me DeVito. I'm going with the Giants. I like it.
Luke.
Ernest, can you go so I know where to go? Because whatever it is, I'm picking opposite. Because
all right,
this absolutely cannot go on the parlay.
This game's bad. Yeah, I'm going New England, so I'm going to save it.
Okay.
I'm going to take New England. I was going to do the exact same thing. Right? I didn't want this one.
Okay.
So you can choose who you really want to win.
I'm going to go with the G-Men. Shout out to my girlfriend. I'm going to go with the G-Men.
There we go. Yeah, the only reason I even want to make a take for New England is because who knows? Maybe Zeke gets 3 touchdowns for fun. Who knows? Like, just want to put it out. It won't happen, but I'm just saving the parlay for myself. I can't put the Giants on the parlay ticket. Let's move on. Cincy versus Pittsburgh in a game that's going to be very interesting with quarterbacks. I'll start this on Luke. It's in your division.
Yeah. So we got a breath of fresh air coming in. We got Jake Browning starting for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase banged up, Joe Mixon banged up, but looks like they're both still going to play. I think the defense will get it done. And per usual, the offense is going to be interesting this time around. So they're splitting the duties between Sullivan and Faulkner. Sullivan's obviously been an OC in 2 other places, so I can trust him with Kenny. I really just have no idea what to expect out of this offense this week. I really don't. I expect a heavy dose of Jalen Warren this week for sure, because Matt Canada just apparently did not like him or something of the sort. So I think I'm going to go with Pitt in this one, just because they shouldn't have dropped that game last week. I mean, all the stuff going on, and I really think that's what led to Matt Canada getting fired.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can't drop that game after Joe Burrow goes down.
That was a straw. That was a straw.
And you Deshaun Watson goes down. Like, you have to go out and at least put a sniff average in that game, and you win that game. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Or golly, I'm going.
Wow! Whoa!
Golly, I'm going with Pitt at home.
What?
Everybody listening, that's a Pittsburgh Pitt. After all that.
Listen, the dog is throwing me off. Okay.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Stop.
Again, brought to you by Petco. Go ahead and find your animal's best, most strengthiest toys for this holiday season. Petco. Yes. Find it anywhere, even at your local Lowe's. Yes. All right, Rick, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, give me Cincinnati, man. Just for hate. I like Cincinnati still has a whole lot of weapons, man. And I love the fact that the Steelers always find ways to win, and it seems like a perfect game for them to find a way to win. However, man, it's just a lot of weapons, and I just love Cincinnati, man. I want to go with Cincinnati here.
Cincinnati gets a bit there, Chris.
Pittsburgh. I just want to state for the record that if anybody in Pittsburgh sees a bearded guy in a yellow shirt yelling at Matt Canada's house, going, "You suck, I'm glad you got fired," it's not Luke. My sources have said he's clear. He's too much of a gentleman to do that, but I'm going Pittsburgh once again.
I have since seen this game too much talent.
Listen, Chris Carter, I got into a fight today because somebody said that I can't believe you're being this mean so close to the holiday. I mean, what about his family? I said, he made $2 million this year. He's fine. I promise.
Him and his family will be great for the holidays.
He'll be just fine.
I'll tell you what. You still
What
had
about the future, bro?
Let's not be mediocre about it then. Okay? Like, be good at your job and you still have a job. Okay?
Well, I'll tell you what. Real classy act. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Shaq Leonard was still giving out turkeys today in Indianapolis, even getting cut. He still showed up. That's a lot of heart. So huge shout out to him. Let's move on. Denver goes over to Cleveland. Denver 2.5-point favorites versus Cleveland, as my computer's frozen. So we'll just keep going. Okay, there it goes. Chris, who you got?
I'm going Cleveland. They seem to believe that they're going to win. Kevin Stefanski is doing a coaching job of his life, and you know what? Myles Garrett is, to me, the MVP of the NFL this year. He is just a force. I think he's going to single-handedly win this game for the Browns.
All right, Cleveland's on the board first. I have Denver in this game. I think they keep rolling. They keep showing out why Russell Wilson's back. So now we're opposite. Won't be on the parlay ticket. Rick.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Denver as well. Sean Payton has started to figure some things out. Russell Wilson is not all the way back, but he's not horrible like he was last year. He doesn't suck, right? And I'm using my list fully here. I love DTR. I really do. I just don't see. He just beat one of the hottest, backup quarterbacks ever in Dobbs. You think he's not going to do the same to this rookie? I'm going to give Sean Payton a nod here.
All right, and Luke.
Oh, strips out, Ernest. Didn't you get it in the mail? I mean, Denver's back. I mean, they're back, Ernest. So I'm going with Denver. Shout out girlfriends because she's a huge Broncos fan. So give me Denver.
All right, guys. All right. Now, that means that we don't have another BCMG guarantee, but because of crying babies, we are going to zoom through these last games. So let's roll right through it. Arizona versus the Rams. I've got Arizona. Luke?
Rams.
Rick?
Arizona.
Chris?
Arizona.
All right. So no parlay ticket there, but we move on. Philly versus Buffalo. Philly 3.5-point favorites. Luke.
Philly.
Rick.
Buffalo.
Chris.
Philly big.
Oh man. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Just because I don't have time to think. All right, Vegas versus Chiefs. Chiefs 8.5-point favorites here. KC for me. Let's go all the way around. Anybody not choosing the Chiefs?
Chiefs money line.
Everybody going
Chiefs money line. Yep.
Chiefs. Revenge game.
All right, perfect. And that means our last game, which is a tribute to Rick, was going to be Atlanta, New Orleans. Let's go around the room. Rick, you'll be last. I am going New Orleans. Luke.
Nolans.
Rick.
Atlanta.
Ooh, he picked Atlanta. That makes me feel bad. Okay, Chris, wrap us up.
I'm going to New Orleans. I don't trust Desmond Ridder.
All right, guys. That is tonight's show. We're going to make it a quick exit. Thank you all for listening today. Special thanks to Rick for being on tonight's show. Thank you guys for being on tonight's show, of course. I wish you guys luck. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Good night, y'all.